Can you please state your full name just for the record? Let's start there.
Hilary Knight.
Okay, Atwood. Your middle name, I mean, Margaret Atwood is genuinely like the Queen of Canada. What's Atwood stand for? What's that from?
Oh, it's a family name. It's just been passed down through generations. Yeah, and actually, my cousins have an interesting take on it. My uncle decided to name a handful of his children of or relating to wood. And so luckily I just got the middle name, but some of my cousins are like Chip, Niffer, Splinter. So
No. What's the
yeah.
from what's the inspiration from wood?
So my uncle's like nickname was like Woody, like just old nicknames, and I don't know. I really don't know, but I think it's a pretty cool middle name.
It is.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was thinking, I'm like, I wonder if that's your mom's maiden name, but it's not.
No, no.
Okay. Because your mom, like, I've had the privilege of meeting her a few times, and every time I've met her, I'm like, she's got a present. She's cool.
Yeah. And
She is.
a lot of my teammates say we look alike too. Like when I get right out of the shower and I have a slick back, they're like, "Oh, Cynthia." So thanks,
What
guys. But yeah.
what role has she played in your life aside from obviously giving birth and
Yeah.
supporting?
I mean, like the biggest role. Outside of the biggest role, no. Honestly, it's super cliche, but I would not be where I am today without her. And a lot of that is because she grew up in a time where she didn't have the same opportunities that we have as young girls or women. And even when we grew up, there weren't as many opportunities. Now there's even more. So it's just great to see the growth there. But um, she really enabled me to think of the world in a different way. I didn't necessarily step on the ice and think I was a girl playing hockey. I was just go out there, she would say, bust your butt, work hard, and have fun. And like those were the three things, right? And so she really sheltered me in many ways, or shielded me, I should say, from, understanding. I understood I was different than all the other boys, but she didn't make it seem like it was a huge barrier for me. And so I think that really set me up for success to realize that if you work hard, if you set goals, and if you go about planning those goals the right way, there's quite a good possibility that you're going to make them. And so whether that was driving me to whatever rink, having the car gassed up at 5 a.m. in the morning, hopping in the pajamas, she just really did everything from a structure standpoint to create an environment for not only me but my brothers to succeed in whatever journey we wanted to embark on. So yeah, I'm very, very fortunate.
So we're both 34. We're getting a little long in the tooth, but 34 years ago, I'm sure a lot of people were like, girls don't play hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And what would your
Yeah.
mom's
And
response
so,
be?
well, my grandma actually like told her, she's like, Cynthia, she pulled her aside and she's like, girls don't play hockey. And she just snapped back and was like, Mom, get with the times. If Hilary wants to play hockey, she's going to play hockey. And so to have that kind of presence in your house, I mean, that's pretty significant, right? And to just like look back and see that, she was just a little bit, I think she was like the first co-ed class at her like school for high school, right?
That's
And
wild.
so she was just on that cusp of being able to play sports more openly. But I really am the first generation for us to have an opportunity to play at a high level, and that's pretty significant to me. Understanding that importance and that responsibility.
Yeah. Well, you've made it to a pretty high level, bud.
Yeah,
But you guys are skiers. Like, you grew up in Sun Valley, so why not put on the old skis?
I know. And my cousin's like a crazy, I don't know, 3 or 4 time Olympic downhill skier. I mean, skiing is like in our blood. I was on skis before skates. It just, we moved to Illinois and there weren't mountains. And so she understood the value and the importance of sport and how that connects people within the community. She's like, okay, I've all these kids now. And what are they going to do? What are the activities? Like school is great, obviously, but how are they going to meet other kids? And so just through her sports, because she does a lot of racket sports, she met another family that's like, oh, get them on skates, get them to learn how to skate, and then they can play hockey. And so that was just the natural path for all of us.
Okay, well, natural segue from that then is you're strapping on the long blades right now with speed skates.
Yeah.
How's that going, buddy?
It's wild. Okay, not that I ever think like any sport is ever easy, right? And I know like I see a lot of like couch tweets of, Olympics and people being able to compete, but being on your guys' blades is like terrifying to me, but thrilling at the same time. Like I got to rip around for 5 minutes and I know that wasn't enough. Like I really want to get back out there. But when I stepped, like Britt had to help me get onto the ice because I felt like I was gonna slide off the ice because it was so slippery until I got on either side. But like I didn't understand how like slippery it was.
Yeah, it
It's
is. Okay,
crazy.
so you mentioned Brittany Bowe is one of the greatest speed skaters of all time, of course, for Team USA. I mean, so you're a bender then a little bit on the old
Oh,
long track.
yeah, and a couple of her friends are chirping me. Joey's out there being like, "Oh, you're an inner skater," and all this stuff. And I'm
And
like, I don't even know what that means, but this is fun. I'm just ripping around as fast as I can.
it means that you're like
So
you're only on your inside edge. So yeah,
yeah,
it's a polite way of saying strengthen your ankles, buddy.
yep. Oh, they're just like totally bending, and Britt's been like, she's awesome. Whenever I'm out in Salt Lake, I get to train at the Oval, and if there's ever a time, I was able to go around with my hockey skates before it was a clean cut for the ice, and like the ice is just so much faster than ours. It's like it's more pure. It's just like that little kid feeling of the wind coming in and freezing through your hair. It's just so epic. And that's what got me hooked in hockey because it just like that feeling of flying and crossing over. And then I go on speed skates. I'm like, oh my gosh, here it is again.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, you know
So
what? You could it's never too late to start. Like
listen, I've seen your training and I don't want any part of that. Like,
okay,
I don't know
clip
how
that.
y'all do that.
I need that clip. That's like the greatest promotion of speed skating ever from Hilary Knight. I don't want any part of that.
Yeah. I love to watch. I will be your biggest fan, but I will not be training for that. It is
Yeah.
just like it's so grueling. Like and like tedious and you have to be so specific and I think I'm just better geared for team sports. It's like, oh, the defense got it. Oh, the goalie's got it.
Well, you never know. There's like a Masters World Championships. I'll come out of retirement if you want to make this a dream. I was talking to a little birdie the other day, Julie Chu, of course, dear friend, old teammate of yours. I said, Chewy, what should I ask Niter? And she's like, immediately gave you so many compliments about just how good of a prankster you are. Like,
Oh boy.
what's the greatest prank you've ever pulled on someone?
Oh, well, I will say I have stepped back a little bit from my prankster ways.
Oh, you're
Just
maturing.
being well, here's the thing is I think people are like absolute terrified when they first come into the program now. So I can't just be like pranking them and be like, ha,
Yeah.
gotcha. But no, I mean, it was such a fun way to kind of, kill time, I guess, when we're traveling. So I think uh there are a few really good ones. The one that I got the most people on was when we were traveling in Finland, and that's where they have the individual toilets, so like the water closets,
Okay.
and they have the handheld bidets that are like next to the sink.
Okay, I've never been to
So,
Finland. No one has described Finland that way.
so I'm just trying to paint this picture. So you've got the toilet, and then you've got the sink, and you handheld bidet, and you have to click the bidet down to use it, but you have to turn the sink faucet on. And so I figured out if you tie a rubber band or like a hair tie around the bidet handle and you position it at the sink, when someone uses the toilet and then goes to wash their hands, they're going to get sprayed by the bidet. And so everyone was like jet lagged. So I was like, oh, this is great. And so each person goes in and, the music's going in the locker room. So nobody's really like cueing in or patterning out that like everyone's getting sprayed by this bidet. I must have got like 5 people. And the shrieks that were coming out of this like room were just amazing. Like I was just waiting, just sitting in my stall, just like, haha, like We're gonna get another
Oh
one.
God.
So that was a pretty good one.
Oh Lord, I gotta go to Finland, I guess. Yeah, I love how you just said, I
Yeah,
just found out that if you tie it with a hair tie, like you weren't just blatantly trying to cause chaos.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
Lord,
I don't know. You're in the middle of the woods, and I think we're in like Hamelina or something. I mean, it's just
you gotta
you
pass
gotta
the
you gotta
time
find ways to
somehow.
entertain yourself.
A hundred
Yep, yep.
percent. Um, you've gone to 4 Olympics, unbelievable. 2010 being your debut, even like when you were, 20 years old, 2010, you were a leader. Like you've always been able to
Mhm.
set yourself apart, really have a unique presence. Like where does that come from? Were you born that way, do you think?
No, I mean, I think part of it probably just growing up. I'm the oldest of all my siblings, and maybe that's part of it. Independence, going away from school when I was like 13 or 14. But really, too, I think I had a really unique opportunity because we didn't have under 18s when I was coming up through the program. And so I really got, sistered or mothered by a lot of my older teammates. And you just kind of, through osmosis, you just become a sponge and you pick up different things. And, getting to see, Julie Chu or Angela Ruggiero or, you know, many of the greats just do these little things that amount to like greatness on a daily basis is just something that you have to soak in. So I don't know if it's just a combination of all those things and just absolutely loving the game and understanding like a greater role within the game. I mean, it all just kind of combines into one. But yeah, I don't know. It's been a wild ride. I mean, if you told me playing a sport, I could receive an education, travel around the world, and do it
Yeah.
with like really cool people, I'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever. But like that's what we've been able to do. And now we have a pro league, and it's just feels like everything's finally clicking all together, and it's really cool to be a part of and see.
So I want to get to the PWHL, but okay, Natalie Darwitz was captain of 2010, Megan Duggan, 14-18, Kendall Coyne Schofield, of course, 2022. What are some of the lessons that they taught you?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, Dar taught me a lot about structure, and that's when I was like super new when I first joined. Obviously, I was eating like McDonald's and stuff, and not that I don't still sometimes eat, different things. I will get chirped about my food selections for sure, but I just learned kind of the whole picture of what it takes to be at that level, and to how to continue to consistently push the envelope for yourself to be relevant and stay at that level. Um, and then she also had the sort of this uncanny ability of just like putting people on her shoulders and going out there and performing. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then Megs is like super charismatic, one of the hardest workers. And I will say all three of these individuals are super hard workers. Like
Yeah.
they would be on that crazy scale of hard work, and they're like further. Um, but Megs is just this awesome communicator, wonderful, natural, charismatic leader, and someone that you'd go anywhere with, because you just know you can trust her in any situation. She's gonna either be there to help you or guide you, and I thought that was just like super important. And I've obviously grown up playing against her in high school, and then was one of her teammates at Wisconsin, and sort of I got to know her a lot better than a lot of other people. And so, what you see is actually like what you get. Like she is 100% genuine and in every way. So that was awesome. And someone I still lean on today for different advice.
So Megan
But
Duggan, like she always played with so much passion that I always thought, oh my gosh,
yeah,
that's someone you don't want to play against, but you always want her on your
hmm
team. Like,
yeah, the Lamoureux twins. I mean, it's just like there's just like a certain breed of competitor, and she's from that sort of that competitor class, that like she might be going against the best in the entire universe, but she thinks she's the best in that specific moment, and you can trust her anytime that she's going to come out with a 50-50 battle. And I think that that's what our sport's about, right? Is
yeah.
trusting your teammate to do her utmost to win any situation. So that's what made her a lethal competitor. And, if you get into a scrum, she's going to be the first one in. so, so that's always great. But yeah, and then Kendall is just, gosh, she is a phenomenal human being. And obviously the fastest skater in the world and all the other on ice talents and that she, they just, everyone knows about all those. But she is, women's hockey would not be where it is today without Kendall. Whether that was, putting the entire sport on her back at the All-Star game and doing one hot lap just to show, all those haters that we're here to play.
Yeah.
Or, whatever it looks like sort of on the professional landscape, whether it's our support battles for the national teams. I mean, she is really in the thick of everything. So I don't know how she finds enough time in the day to do everything she does. So I think just being able to take different pieces from all those leaders that I've been able to play with and learn from. And it's just, I mean, I can't think of a better learning experience than that.
I want to flip the script a little bit. What has Pooh taught you?
Pooh. Well, it's funny because people are like, why are you going up to Montreal? And I was like, well, why not? I mean, it's sort of this opportunity to go up there and learn from another great, right? I mean, why wouldn't I do that? That's pretty cool. Obviously, it came with a lot more challenges than I expected. But no, I mean, she's from that same class of competitor, and there's just something so special being able to train with someone like that day in and day out and learn from them. If for like the hockey theorists out there to be able to sit ice level and figure out like positioning or structure or the way that she sees the game, to be able to be on the ice and figure out, the passing cadence or all the little details. I mean, they're just, they're so special. And I don't think anyone has really realized like how special they are. Obviously, like you'll see her for the big goals and the big, plays and whatnot, but all the little things that she does are just incredible. And that's what makes her great. Right. So that was a pretty unique opportunity.
Yeah. And I mean, when you say like, oh, there was other issues, of course, the CWHL folded and then we went through a pandemic.
Bye.
So bye. Yeah. There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like you've had just such a formidable career, 4 Olympic Games, you're a 9-time world champion. Is there a moment that taught you the most? Or was there a moment or an Olympics that taught you more than others?
Oh my goodness. I've learned something from each one, obviously. I think, goodness, this is a hard question. I think the biggest thing for me is being on both sides of the coin, right? Winning, losing. And for losing for the first 2 and finding that success in the third, the first 2, you're like, oh, I'm missing that success. You want to win because then the growth of the sport's going to be bigger in the United States and all these other things are going to come through. More companies are going to want to be involved. There's going to be more money in the game. People are going to care, more eyes, more consistency for programming and whatnot. And really understanding that, yes, I'm not taking anything away from winning at all because like I love winning. I hate losing.
Yeah, me
but
too.
It doesn't change, the end result doesn't necessarily change the preparation or the I guess like the sweat equity that goes into it all. And I thought that was really important for me to go through that process and have those heartbreaks and understand that you can put everything into this game and you can still come up short and you can be okay with that. It's damning and frustrating right away, but yeah, I think that was a very big, I'd say like growth moment for me as a human to really be able to have like a healthy reflection after both of those experiences for sure. But yeah, I think outside of that, probably our 2017 equitable support battle is something that taught me the most. And obviously we were successful with that, which is great. And we had that storybook, win at world championships and whatnot. But I've never felt more empowered in my entire life, and I'll never forget that feeling of that just like sheer natural confidence of we're gonna go get this thing and we're gonna get this thing done,
Yeah.
and to come out victorious and obviously change the game for the U.S. national teams for many years to come. I mean, that's just uh, I don't know what you compare that to. So from a learning experience, that would definitely be pretty high up there.
Okay, so 2017, yes, the U.S. women's hockey team is going to World Championships. They say, no, we're not going to play until XYZ. Sorry, XYZ. I should say that you are American. We love Americans, even if we're talking women's hockey, buddy. Um, we need these certain demands met for us to play. And
Hmm.
then you, of course, as you said, go on to win. And it was just historic. I think even people up here went, this was the ending that everyone needed. You have so much pressure on your shoulders, and I hope you don't feel it, but you are one of the biggest faces in the game. Have you leaned on other really significant, female athletes like a Rapinoe or a Sue Bird, folks that have actually gone through a very similar experience and used their voices in, times of justice?
Yeah, not specifically for say. So we lean on a lot of the 99ers for our first initial battle off the ice. Um, but there's always so much work that needs to be
I
done, so
know.
it's like one thing at a time. But no, in terms of on ice stuff, I mean, I was really really struggling in Beijing, and just like the makeup of the games and how like isolated everything felt, and you just felt like the terror of like, if you come down with COVID, like does it affect the team? What happens to you? You get whisked off away. Like, what does this look like? So it just felt really challenging. And I don't know how it came about, but uh, I had a quick conversation with like Sue just through messaging, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, what help me figure out how to go about this problem.
Did you just slip into her DMs or you have her phone number?
No, just on Insta. It's just like,
Okay,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
That's a pretty like lovely level of success though if Sue Bird just like replies to your DM right away.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like to name drop, but like just to have someone of like that stature
Yeah.
to kind of like bounce something off of and be like, okay, like you're gonna be okay, and sort of have that reassuring confidence. I mean, everyone needs that at different points in time, and I don't know. I can't remember which game it was after. We weren't cracking the middle. We didn't have enough grade A scoring opportunities. We weren't having enough like offensive bids, and it just became a little frightening of where we were with our preparation and stuff, and just working our way through that and understanding like she's a shooter, like what advice does she have? So that was pretty special, and for anything, I think it's super important to have a sounding board, regardless of whatever sport at any time, just bounce something off, because you never know what other people are going through, whether it's serious or funny, or on ice, off ice. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you need help problem solving, and sometimes you just can't get out of your own head.
You mentioned the 99ers. Like, so when you say 99ers, tell me if I'm being silly, but
The
the
99ers.
99, okay, I'm like, are we talking about the real 99ers? Like, have you met Brandy Chastain?
Have met Brandy, yeah. I'd say, like Foudy is just like the goat
She's the
from
GOAT.
like Foudy is the one who connected us with the Ballard and Spar team to help us navigate what this looks like, because obviously everybody saw us holding out from world championships, but what they didn't see is we had been working with Ballard for over a year. Like those conversations had happened many many times, and really trying to navigate the future, because at the time it's like, you say you're not going to a world championships, like boom, that's your opportunity of going to the Olympics. That's your big shot of playing for the national team. Like it's just gone. And so to have their guidance was just so important. And Ballard's, was with U.S. soccer players way back in the day, and helped them establish that like a long time ago, the 99ers. But yeah, I mean, to have the support and the guidance from a Foudy is just like, what do you do with that? I mean, you go forward with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just pretty cool to have that touch point.
No, Julie Foudy is, as you said, she's the goat, and I wish she was like my aunt. That's my, that's a secret. Yeah, I want to be in her family. Talking about those conversations, though, I mean, with the PWHL, of course, brand new league. You guys are going into this season with a CBA already like signed, collective bargaining agreement already signed. What was that experience like? Like, that's historic.
Oh my gosh, it was. I think we're the first sport to ever do that. To be
I think you
honest,
are.
I mean, I
Yeah.
could get fact checked on that, but like I'm pretty sure that's how significant it is. Honestly, the negotiations were terrifying because it's like, what you got to find your leverage points. You know, what leverage do you have? And our leverage has always been we have the best players in North America. We want to have the best players in all of the world globally playing in this thing. We can deliver these players to you. Let's get this done. And to have an ownership group or an investor group that has the same interest of facilitating a level of professionalism and creating a structure that we can actually form a league under. It's just having both parties come to the table to be able to have something substantial like that is pretty incredible. And obviously the association then turning into a union and being formally recognized is a huge step, and getting all the nitty gritty sort of out. And now we've got a CBA and whatnot. But yeah, it was quite interesting process because you have to put on a number of different hats. You have to talk to different specialists, figure out what's important. And then also you're representing a large player group of some of the best players in the world, if not the best. And you're like, okay, you know, does this represent them well? And making sure that you have, you know, integrity through that process and trying to squeeze out as much as we can with zero leverage as well. So I think we did a great job for a great starting point, and I'm really excited for the future of the game.
So that's what excites me so much, though. It's not like you were just, trying to leverage like dollars and cents. Like
No.
it's a whole big picture. Like, what are you most proud of?
Oh boy. I mean, we have employment, right? And so that comes with health insurance. And I know it's a little bit different up in Canada, right? But for in the US, like health insurance is a significant cost. And so to be able to provide players that, to have workers' comp, to provide benefits, we have housing stipends. We have, different things for maternity. I mean, there's just like all sorts of stuff that rolls into this one. And then that's not even talking about the specifics of, what do game day operations look like, and what that environment looks like. So there's all these benefits and things that we've been able to grab with the CBA and, create a union and all that stuff. But really the whole ecosphere developing, the game from the ground all the way up at this level is something that we've all done. And so that's what's really exciting, is to have consistent level of professionalism and to have the players represented the right way off the ice as well is just so important. And it's never been done before. And so there's going to be growing pains, right? I mean, would I love to have bigger salaries? 100%. But, we're going to get there, and it just takes time. So it's to put it in perspective, to launch what we're launching, in comparison to other leagues out there, we are very competitive, especially in our infancy. So I think that's pretty significant to take into consideration as well.
Well, and it's so cool because, I mean, you played in the CWHL, you played in the NWHL, you're part of the PWHPA, of course, now PWHL, baby. Like, let's go.
Here we go. I know.
You've seen all the progress. Like, I mean, you would know, and you can speak to it better than almost anyone because you've seen all the different leagues.
Yeah, and I have a picture actually saved on my phone. My first year out of college and coming from the bright lights of Wisconsin and the chartering and, that's where it's all cushy and nice. And then to think I'm going to go pro, and then it's just like totally different. I have this picture on my phone where, Boston's playing at a community rink back in the CWHL days, and there are not enough seats. And so us two rookies, I can't remember who the other individual was, but we had those plastic like crates where you keep the pucks in, like the milk cartons or whatever.
Milk crate.
And milk crates, and stacking two on top of each other. And my bag's right there, and I'm getting dressed in the bathroom of a community rink. And so to come from all the way that of like there
Yeah.
to now where we're going to be, where we have professional, buildings and ice and just the quality of the experience. I mean, it's crazy. It's taken a long time, but I'm really happy with the progress.
And you're going back to Boston. Like,
Going back.
you're gonna be a franchise player or what, buddy? Like that's
Oh,
your home basically.
yeah. I mean, I was fortunate enough to live there for a handful of years. My mom's from the East and yeah, a lot of family out there. So I'm just really excited to get back out East. Yeah, I feel very much so there's like a lot of unfinished business. So that's super cool. I think one of the things that was important about my decision was, I live in Minnesota, I have a house here, but it just felt, a little too comfortable. And I wanted a challenge. I want to go back. I want to do something significant. I understand the landscape of pro sports in Boston and how hard it is. And I love the fans out there. Obviously want to be a little bit closer to some of my relatives and stuff, but it's title town, right? And the stakes are high and it gets your blood pumping, and it's the inaugural year. I mean, there's a lot on the line right now.
Yep.
So I'm really excited about that decision.
I got 2 questions left. So you've done so much, right? Canada, USA, some European players, they all come together, they form the PWHPA. You fought for all that is good. We're now here with the PWHL. But what is it like having to really chat and collaborate with folks that you perhaps haven't really humanized in the past, right? Like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
never played team sports. I don't think I would want to be too friendly with some of these people. And now you're back and you have to like face off again. Well,
Yeah.
what's that feeling like? Or does that get blown out of the water a bit too? I don't know.
No, I mean, I will say if you don't know anybody on the other side and you talk about like humanizing, like
Yeah.
the last thing I do when I play Canada, like I don't even look at, the other team as like friends, or I don't know them, right? I just put them into this other category because I have to, right? Because the stakes are so high and the level of competition, like there's no room for error out there. So you can't ever second guess your split second decision. And that was what was a little bit more interesting this past year, is because we combined rosters. And so we had a handful of, America, Canadian sort of mix ups between the teams. And, you go into that experience, you're like, like, I don't like this person. And then you get to know them a little bit more. You're like, okay, like this person isn't that bad. Like it was just like this whole preconceived thing in my head because, we've had to go to battle against each other for years and years. And so what I'm excited about is now the fans have an opportunity to rally around these clubs and around players. And what was interesting about going up to Montreal for me was I was always seen in that rivalry. The fans like obviously love me from like the Canadian perspective, but they're like, but you play for the United States, right?
Yeah.
And so that was always the biggest rivalry. And so I'm not saying that it still won't be, but I think now there's different storylines and there's more skill that you can attach to this fandom of the game, and that also comes with the territory of learning from different people and being able to adapt to different styles. And I think that's what's just so exciting. But I mean, don't get me wrong, when we're to US Canada, it's going to go back to like frenemies again. Like, just like I'm going to put someone through the glass just, as I would if I was competing against them on any other ice sheet. But no, it's so unique. I mean, the level of the game is just going to be outstanding. And I think that's what I'm most looking forward to is, we are the destination for the best in the world globally. And the international game is just going to soar to new heights.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see what happens. So this is your crystal ball moment. Who's going to come out swinging?
Boston.
Boston all the way right to the ship, eh?
Yeah, but no, I think you got to bet on yourself, right? But no, it's going to be interesting. I didn't expect the draft to shake out that way. Free agency was also interesting as well. So I think we have a really healthy balance of teams and competition. It's what's going to be interesting is year 2, right? Like it's like, okay, year 1, we all played it out, but now the new talent that's rising in, and where do you slot people in, and it's going to be extremely competitive. year one, obviously, and year two. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for that. I mean, the fans are in for a treat, and now you're going to find somewhere to watch us consistently,
Mhm.
which has never been there before. So there's only good things to come.
I'm already have my ear to the ground about expansion as well. I'm already taking bets. I'm so pumped up, and I'm so excited to watch you play.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I can't wait to lace up. I mean, obviously we've got rivalry series before then, but yeah, it's going to be a wild year for sure.
It's going to be a historic year. And what's good for women's hockey is good for every single female athlete. So thank you, buddy. I appreciate you doing this podcast too. It's always so nice to see your face. And I'm not even kidding. We should strap on the long blades and go for a
Let's
rip. I'm
go.
not even kidding. Like, let's do it for charity. I don't care. I've been wearing a skin suit in like 6 years. Let's do it. Have you put one on?
Yep. It was a
Spandex
little
not that
snug.
bad. Spandex not that bad. It's quite freeing.
Gosh, I mean, if it makes you faster, it's just I'll do it. But yeah, we should totally do that. There is nothing for people out there who have never seen speed skating. You need to watch it because there is nothing like it. Like hockey is fast, but like speed skating is fast. So we got to get out there.
We got to get out there. I actually think Kendall Coyne is probably one of the greatest skaters I've ever seen in my entire life. Like her first few steps off the line, she would have been a great. And Bonnie Blair was like, "You should be a speed skater," and I actually kind of agree with Bonnie Blair. I mean,
Yeah.
Kendall Coyne Schofield's also Olympic champion, but
Yeah. Well, every time I run into Bonnie, she's like, "When's Kendall coming out?" I was like, "Oh, we got to get her out here. Like, I need to see this."
she'd be good. I'm telling you. I'll pull up the rear,
Yeah.
but no, we'll get out.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you.
Awesome. Peace.